Hello. In this video I'm just going to show you some clipping that's happening between the rear of the saddle. Sometimes we're dealing with a rig that has limited bones, and with models that are low body models you'll experience some clipping, but this can be avoided. So let's just have a closer look at what's going on. Alright, so originally the model was not combined, so the top part of the saddle was combined with the side parts, and the back and the front was combined, but this little side part was not combined, and you can clearly see the weight painting is different on that element, that mesh, compared to the rear, what they call barding, the rear armor of the horse on the hind, on the back side. So we want to make sure that the weight painting on this piece of these leaves that are hanging down, this leaf covering, is the same as the backside armor, that barding armor. Alright, so easy way to do that is obviously just to combine them, so you're painting them at the same time. And combining meshes, not merging them but combining them, is also good for game optimization. The game loads it once instead of loading several separate meshes. It loads one mesh because it's combined. Alright, let's go back there. So I've already removed, I've gone to the skeleton and I've unbound the mesh to the bone. So I've removed the previous weight painting. I have combined the leaves to the saddle. So what I'm going to do now is select all the bones. I select them individually. I expand all of them, and I just highlight all of them, and I select the geometry, and I just go to bind. That's going to put some automatic weights to the model, and we can work from there. So I'm just going to hide the bones for now, because I'll be working from here, and let's just see if that's any better than what we were seeing previously. And I can tell you off the bat it's going to be better because they're moving together. Let's re-enable the horse so we can see the body. So Control H, no, Shift H. Alright, so I don't want to see the weights on the body, I want to see it on the saddle. And so now we're getting that hip that hip is influencing the top of the saddle and the side of the saddle at the same time. Okay, so if I just deselect that and just turn off the bones again and we go through the animation, we should see it's a bit better. We'll probably still see some clipping because automatic weights doesn't, it does a decent, an okay job. It doesn't solve all the problems, so we'll just have to have a look at where it breaks. Oh, okay, there. Right there. Okay, so you can see it falls right through the backside. So we'll select on it, and we just need to go and fix that. So I would say that hips, we need to make that give it more influence on the rear armor, the backside armor. Okay, so just turn off Control H, turn off the horse body. Back to the weight painting, and just increase. I'm just going to go all the way to 1 and make the hips influence that side of the I'm going to have to turn off the tail too, it's getting in the way. Control H. Nope, that's the leg hair. Tail please. Okay, back to weight painting, and on the hips we just want to give it make it a complete 100% influence on the rear armor. That way it won't fall through the backside when it jumps. And we'll just tackle these one at a time and try to get them working the way they're supposed to. We'll just customly get it to that point that it's functioning the way we expect. So Control Shift H will bring the tail back. Control Shift H won't bring the horse back because that was done previously. So just Control Shift H while having the horse selected. There we go. Alright, so that's looking better already. So it's not 100% because you can see the horse's backside was still going through, but that part's looking better. And we'll just go through this one at a time, bit by bit. Just Control H, hide all that, and just get everything working the way it's supposed to, and just keep scrubbing through the timeline and just looking for any clipping that's happening. And that is essentially what we need to do here, because automatic weights is not sufficient. But we're already on the right track because we have we've combined the mesh, and now we're painting the leaves with the rear saddle, and we're going and scrubbing through the timeline and looking for when it's clipping and making sure that it doesn't. Alright, so that's essentially how one goes and makes sure that you avoid unnecessary clipping in a low poly model with limited rig. And just scroll through the different bones and just make sure that if something's not working right, switch to a different bone. And as you can see, the spine is influencing this, and if you don't want it to influence it, just reduce the value, paint it away. Something I find works very nice is you just go from 100% down to 0.75, which is like 75%, and you gradually fade, and it makes the transition when it animates very smoothly. If you just paint something 100% and then it goes straight to black, that can make it animate in quite a crude way. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Go back to the hips. So yeah, as I'm now moving towards away from the hip bone, I'm going to now slowly need to start shifting down to 75, because I don't want to go 100% all the time. As it's going towards the spine, I'm going to decrease my influence value as we move towards the spine. Okay, so we've got some, we missed one or two vertices there. We'll get them. And that does not look nice. We'll get that. So it is just tricky catching all the right vertices. And sometimes it also doesn't do what you want it to do because it's influenced by another bone. So sometimes you need to go through and check if another bone's making it look funny. And other times it's actually just the original model. It's just that the modeler modeled some geometry underneath, just as a bit of a bleed. And if you go back to frame 1, you can see if that's how it looked originally or if that's something that we've done. So I'm going to go back up to 100% here and see if that will just, yeah, it just keeps climbing. Okay. Okay, there it's recovering its shape. Okay. So I'll probably go back and put like a 75% value on some of these, but right now, just to regain the shape, I'm just putting 100 just so I can see the shape again, and then I'll fade it down to 75, then 50, then 25, then 0. Yeah, just always look for those grey patches, but yeah, alright. So that's the general approach I take, just to make sure the things don't clip. They're just scrub through the timeline, look for poses that causes, you can see the horses jumping here. There's other instances where the horse is making a speedy stop or is sidestepping. Let's have a look. There's a nice example further down. Yep, there we go. It's a speed stop, and that's a dead giveaway. You'll see lots of geometry colliding when it crunches down, and that can be improved and avoided so that it animates correctly. It just takes time. So alright, all of the best, good luck.